I'm sorry. I've lied to you all. So, you know when I've said Radiant's probably better than Yaksha? I think I might have been wrong. Just a little bit. Because my theory was that this season, Ornn was probably going to team fight a lot and play for the team like a tank does, right? That's what you think, but you'd be wrong. Ornn actually works better with damage items. What I think. Building damage makes you kill people and makes you stronger. Because I was going Radiant, Wardens, all these Gargoyle, defensive, only tank stat items. I was just sitting on Bammies. But I was fucking wrong. Because that shit cost me a lot of LP. I went from like 670 LP GM all the way to the plummets to the depths of hell. And that's when I had a moment of self-reflection. And I was like, I am not dealing damage. I'm just tanking for no one because it's solo queue. And even in high elo, even at 700 LP, challenger lobbies, grandmaster lobbies, high master lobbies, low master lobbies, diamond lobbies, gold lobbies, you can't rely on your teammates. And that's when I had an epiphany. What if I am all the teammates? And that's when it hit me. What if I built every item that I would build in low elo? So that would be Sunfire, Abyssal, and Thornmail. But in high elo too. Genius. Absolutely genius. And it's been working pretty well. And yeah, doing damage works. So instead of Wardens, you would not build it at all. And instead, you're going to build like a Chain Vest. Or you would just skip it completely and just go straight Yaksha. Like a lot of the matchups that I've put here in the Ornn Bible, where I've put Warden's Mail or Chain Vest, you basically go Chain Vest if it's a range matchup, and you'd finish Sunfire after you got Yaksha, because it's still 40 armor, because Warden's Mail is 40 armor, Chain Vest is 40 armor, but Warden's Mail is the rock solid. But you'd be without a rock solid, which will make for a slightly weaker lane phase, but honestly, I don't even notice it, because I'm so used to Ornn that, you know, just being slightly lower doesn't really matter to me. And the damage really goes really high because Thornmail got buffed too. And Thornmail's damage got like buffed to like bajillions and millions and millions, and the armor got buffed too. And Yaksha and Abyssal and Thornmail together, they make a dangerous combo. Like Thornmail ended up doing one game 5,000-6,000 damage. It is really insane. So yeah, I think the core build for Ornn the rest of the season is probably gonna be just like some build path of like Bammy, Yaksha, Sunfire, Thornmail. You could replace the Abyssal for Gargoyles or Force of Nature. Like you can swap the order of the things. But it's generally going to be Yaksha. You can build Radiant still. Like, Radiant and Yaksha are still similar power levels. Radiant's kind of favored when some people have true damage or slow fights. Like, they're still both viable. But for, like, solo carrying and just being an all-around strong unit, I think Yaksha and Sunfire and Thornmail and Abyssal are, like, your go-to. I mean, there are comps where obviously they have 3 MR threats, and that's when you'd either go, like I went this game, where I went Abyssal Mercs and Yaksha. It's generally enough, but if it's not, then you can just go Negatron Cloak with Abyssal instead of Force of Nature. So you'd have the 50 MR from Negatron Cloak, and you'd have the Abyssal Mask passive, instead of just going for Force of Nature because you need damage. And without damage, you can't really carry anymore. Because the way Riot has made the games happen is you either do damage or you're useless. So I was thinking, okay, I'll just tank all of it. But tanking all of it wasn't enough because I had no damage myself. So I only had CC that is dodgeable. And tanks are in a weird, very weird state where you have to stack so much damage or you stack so many resists and they ignore you or kite you. Like, it's a weird spot, but I think this is the best to be like your own man. You know, get your own blacksmithing business. So I think you go plated a lot, Thornmail a lot. It's probably Thornmail over Sunfire. I think Thornmail's probably higher damage. I mean, it depends if you need either more health or you need more armor. It depends. But I think Thornmail with Bammies is a little stronger because they buff Thornmail's armor and the reflect damage a lot a couple of patches ago. I don't remember when, but it was really fucking good. So yeah, I'm sorry I lied to you all about the mythics and a lot of itemization. I mean, I didn't lie. It's just that it was suboptimal, or it made it so you would rely on teams too much. Anyway, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sorry to myself too. Like, the start of the season, I've been like all over the place. Like, one time I was building Radiant, one time I was building Yaksha. I mean, the time where Radiant was 3,000 gold and Yaksha was 3,200 gold, that was correct. Okay, for that I didn't lie. But Abyssal Rush, yeah, that thing I lied about. At the I mean, I didn't lie, it was just bad, and I forgot to say anything. So yeah, I'm sorry. But you can still go Abyssal. It's just probably third item, not a second. Or if you're gonna go second, they have to have a lot of AP, and you have to go with a Negatron Cloak. Like, you're gonna be like, because it's very good mid game, but once the mages hit like 3 items, it becomes sort of useless. So you need a Force of Nature after, but you should be fine if you have like Merc Treads. Like, let's say this guy was AP 2, you would go like Merc Treads, Yaksha, Abyssal with a Negatron Cloak. And then you'd have like Sunfire, and here you'd be like Force of Nature or Gargoyle. Like, Abyssal is still really good for damage. You just have to keep in mind, you know, that you're sacrificing your more tankiness that you could have had with Force of Nature or Gargoyle for damage. And honestly, man, I think the better way and more fun way is to just build all the damage items with Yaksha or Radiant. Again, depending on the comp. But most of the time it's going to be Yaksha, because people don't usually draft fast comps, dive comps. They usually just draft like front to back, or just like Fiesta comps where you're just fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting, and that's where Yaksha gets a lot of value. And yeah, so that's the update to tank items. I'm not building Wardens anymore. I know it's broken, but I really it's gold that I don't want to spend, that I'd much rather have on just like damage, basically. I mean, you can still go Wardens if you don't want damage, but I would much rather just go Chain Vest and just be closer and closer to Sunfire, Thornmail, Abyssal. Just get these items online as soon as possible so I can kill people. Because tanks have boiled down to just killing people instead of peeling and CCing and team play. Yeah, it's Fiesta and it's perma-fist. And yeah, it's been working well. I got like, I don't know, like 12 wins in one day. I got Masters in one day. So that was... or 2 days, I don't remember. I played like some games on this account. I mean, it's a fresh one, but yeah, I think this is gonna be the build I'm gonna be rocking for until the end of times, and I'm gonna reach Challenger with this soon, maybe, probably, hopefully. But yeah, it seems good. Just gonna have to get used to not building Wardens and just going for the Chain Vest instead. But you don't, I mean, there are times where you can finish Sunfire first, but usually I just go sit on a Bammy Chain Vest and just go for Yaksha, and then you can finish it, because you don't really need the Sunfire finish more than you need the Yaksha to, you know, team fight properly and tanky. So yeah, Sunfire, Abyssal, Thornmail, Yaksha, or Radiant, depending on the comp. Again, most of the time, I'm repeating myself here, but I just want to make myself clear. They're both viable, and so everything is situational. Everything is situational. You should always build accordingly. Everything's viable. Everything has its spot. Not one thing is superior to the other, but most of the time, this build is gonna work and it's gonna do wonders. I won versus Olaf. Olaf is disgusting. I mean, it might say ace here, but I kicked his ass, alright? So yeah, the build is good. For damage and solo carrying, this build's, I like it. It feels like Season 10 Ornn. Somehow. I didn't know it was possible, but if you get a lot of resources, this build actually scales. And Thornmail will deal a lot of damage. The Abyssal actually increases the Sunfire and Yaksha and W damage as well. And the Thornmail damage. So the Abyssal increases because this magic damage, this magic damage, this magic damage, and your W will deal magic damage too. And you get some magic pen. It's pretty good. So yeah, that's the build for like the new season. So enjoy. Again, sorry I lied, but that's the build now. Okay, goodbye. Like the video, smash like button, get free LP. Goodbye.